Thanks for joining us on Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged, where the message is always truthful, authentic, and inspiring. For more information on Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged, visit bobbyeandtonilee.com. Now your hosts, Bobbye and Tonilee.
Hello, welcome to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. My name is Bobbye Brooks.
And I'm Tonilee Adamson.
Welcome to the show. As always, we're glad to have you. If you're brand new, and maybe you've heard before, this under Daily Disciples Radio, we have reimagined, new and improved, I guess is the best way to say it, because now you can not only listen, if you're listening right now on the radio, we want you to go and watch. So you can actually go to StillDailyDisciples.org and BobbyeandTonilee.com. Click the Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged banner and go to the YouTube channel, and you get to watch the show. And today we are in our new set. So today I would highly recommend you going to the show. That's one reason. The probably most important reason is that we have a very special guest, and she'll be coming on here in just a moment. But her name is Manda Hall. She's our very first guest on set that you get to listen to and see. And her message is incredibly powerful. You know, TL, we help women.
Broken to beautiful. Yes. I love the name of her book.
How many people do we talk to all of the time?
Her message really does. And reading her book, you know this book relates to every woman out there. Because we all go through periods of time that we look in the mirror and go, what has happened to me? And who am I?
Something is wrong.
I wish I was better than what I see.
Now, speaking of which, we want to let everybody know that if you're in a situation and you're looking for hope, speaking of which, the Power of Hope Women's Conference, our 11th annual San Diego conference, is Saturday, January 30th. Amanda's going to be there amongst many other special guests. It's going to be an incredible day. And tickets are on sale right now. You can go to dailydisciples.org or you can call 800-992-0369. And right now, they're $25 for just regular ticket price with lunch. Or if you have a special group, call Heather. She'll give them to you 5 or more for $15. 800-992-0369. Well, without further ado, how about let's bring in our very special guest, author of From Broken to Beautiful. Welcome, Manda Hall, to our show today.
Yay, Manda! So good to see you.
Glad to be here.
Glad to see you.
Glad to see you guys too. I'm so excited. This is so awesome.
Yes, I know. Well, people who are listening on the radio right now, they don't get to see just how beautiful
that's why
you
gotta
look.
go. They gotta go look at your YouTube and watch this.
That's exactly right. So. You've been on the show before, and we actually had quite a bit of response whenever you came on, and at that time, you were still writing the book. You were in the process, and we discussed your testimony, which is very powerful. What has it been like getting this book out now, From Broken to Beautiful? It's just come out, hot off the press. How do you feel?
Well, I feel amazing. It's very surreal in feeling like, wow, I have finally done this. I never in a million years expected that I would write a book. You know, I know that God has really had a special call in my life recently to share my story. I just didn't realize that I would be sharing it all, speaking as well as writing. So it was a great experience. And so I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
So Manda, you got to the point that you said, I want to write a book, or what was the process that you had the discipline to actually sit down to do this?
You know, I've learned through various teachers as well as through Bobbye that not only do you have to have your story if you're going to be speaking, which I really feel is my heart to do, is to share my story with women. You also have to have something that they can go away with, that they can walk away and maybe have extra action steps to take along the way.
Yes.
And my book has lots of questions and areas for journaling because they're questions that I asked myself along the process.
I liked how when you went through major times in your life, all of a sudden you would say, can you name people in your life who've broken your trust? Make a list. And you have 5 lines. And I loved it because it reminded me of journaling. You talk about prayer journaling a lot and how that was your outlet. your
Yes.
way of working through the bad to flip to the good.
Okay.
And you allow us to learn how to journal as we read your book.
Yes.
I thought it was
it's
beautiful.
a very important part of the process. Never
Absolutely.
thought I was going to journal, and I do share that, but it's been a very amazing experience to be able to share all my thoughts on paper, and then actually to go back now as I look back and go, wow, look how far God has brought me.
Yes.
I am so happy and excited to be where I am at right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's trials and challenges and stuff that are still going to come my way, and I'll be journaling all about those.
Life doesn't stop.
Life does not stop, but it's so encouraging for me.
I look forward to the next book. Speaking of which, we want to make sure you know how to get the book as we're just beginning our conversation. If you're just tuning in to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged, formerly known as Daily Disciples Radio, if you've been listening to the show for a while, wherever you may be listening, we do want you to go to dailydisciples.org or bobbyeandtonilee.com and watch so you can see what's happening right now on set. But mandahall.com is where you can buy her book. It's on Amazon. We have copies of it, but we want you to get to know Manda. And so Manda Hall, it's MandaHall.com. If you're watching the show, it's going to be on the screen. But there's so many advantages to watching the show now. We can't even go into all of it. But if on radio, definitely go to mandahall.com, or you can always call us. We'll make sure you get a copy. So From Broken to Beautiful is available, 800-992-0369, and it's on sale for how much right now, Amanda?
For $10.
$10. So this is a special introductory offer of only $10. And
I like the
copies of
tagline,
it.
a journey to restore a shattered self-image. I really like that. I think that's beautiful. That is so true. And people aren't talking about self-image like that in books. They would say, From Broken to Beautiful, how God now loves you. But you're actually identifying your issues.
Okay, so we are just getting started with our very special guest, Manda Hall, who's here today talking about her new book, From Broken to Beautiful. We got to take a quick break here on Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged, but don't go away. We've got so much more to talk about, and we will be right back.
Hi, my name is Emily Adamson of Media for Women Enterprises. Media for Women is a full-service media marketing agency. We do everything from web design, videography, social media, and more. The technology we have today is not going away, and you need to get your business online. Set up your free consultation today at mediaforwomen.com or call the number on your screen, 1-800-992-0369.
Welcome back to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. We are so glad that you're joining us. And if you're brand new to the show, this is the former Daily Disciples Radio. For the next few weeks, we'll remind everyone of that, and then you won't hear that anymore. It's basically hosted by Daily Disciples Ministries. It's still Bobbye and Tonilee. But one very special change is that this is now available online where you can watch the show. So if you go to bobbyeandtonilee.com or dailydisciples.org, there's this nice little banner that says Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. Just click through it, and you will get to Bobbye and Tonilee's channel on YouTube. And I won't go into all the facts that you can just search it, but you can always search Bobbye and Tonilee's channel and get there. Because today on our program, if you're listening on the radio, our very special guest, Manda Hall, who's in studio with us, we're talking to her about her new book. She has just released her first brand new book, From Broken to Beautiful. And what strikes me so much about the book is the authenticity, Manda. You go into things that had to be painful to write.
Yes, but I knew that they were so necessary because I always felt like I didn't have, like, people would look at me different or think, oh my gosh, I question God, or, you know, any of the things. But that is how he got a chance to answer me, and how I was able to really start walking in that tight personal relationship with him, was being able to just express my anger, express my frustration, cry, ask God to just really show me, what am I supposed to be doing here? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? You know, when you're in that deep, dark place of depression and you just don't know if there's any way out. And at one point I was ready to call it done, and I share that. And to know that there's that light of hope, and that I can share however I'm feeling with him, and he's gonna love me the same no matter what.
Having problems of depression, that can cycle in and out. But when you write in your tagline, a journey to restore a shattered self-image, self-image is so much larger, because it really starts when you're young, and then it continues, and you realize, oh, this is a problem. Like, this isn't just a circumstantial problem, this is a journey.
Absolutely.
So explain a little bit about the shattered self-image.
Well, you know, I grew up a pretty average-sized kid. You know, I had lived in a middle-class family. It was, you know, I had a fairly normal home, other than the fact that I had a mom that just didn't really acknowledge me or love me, and I tried everything I possibly could, and it just was so hard to gain her approval. And as you go through that as a kid, you know, you start to wonder about your worth and if you have any value, or, you know, what am I really supposed to be doing here? Like, I can't get her to even love me. How am I going to get anybody else to love me or give me, you know, validate who I am? And that was, it's hard when you get there. And the way I coped was I did it with food. And so I would just shove food into my mouth, and I put on the weight with both kids, and it just never fell off. And I used that to just really stuff down all those feelings that I had of being unworthy, not being worthy of love. Although I have an amazing husband and he has been wonderful to me, I still felt that about myself, and I didn't feel I was worthy of being loved. And so, you know, getting to that point, I was 253 pounds.
Wow.
I saw this just ugly, broken woman in the mirror. Even after losing the weight and being how I've been now for a little over 10 years, until about, you know, a year and a half ago, I still was seeing that 253-pound woman staring at me in the mirror. All those broken, hurt, hard feelings, the anger, the pain, all of that. I saw that in the mirror. And it wasn't until I really got into that place where God could refine me and work on me and show me that I created you to be my beautiful daughter. And you need to leave that negative past behind you and know that you are worthy of love. You are valued in my kingdom. You are my daughter. And you are so precious to me. And so it was a process, you know, a journey to really kind of repair that as I developed that personal relationship with Christ. So,
and you know, that is so true of gosh, I know that as you're speaking right now, and if you're listening, if you're tuning in to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged, listening to Manda speak, we want you to be able to get a copy of this program, actually of the show and of the book. The book is the main thing. You want From Broken to Beautiful, this first book by Manda Hall. And we say first because we're already encouraging her to get the second one out, okay? But this first book will includes questions for you to actually, you could do a Bible study group. You could do a home fellowship. You could do a small group with friends with this book. So the best way to get it is to go to Manda Hall, MandaHall.com. Right there on her website. You can order it online. It's available on Amazon. It's available all over. You can also contact us at dailydisciples.org, or you can give us a call at 800-992-0369. We're going to have copies of it. She's going to be at our conference in San Diego on January 30th. You can meet Manda in person. She'll be doing some book signings. But and that conference, by the way, you need to get tickets. Tickets are going fast. That's Saturday, January 30th, The Power of Hope. As we're talking about From Broken to Beautiful, hope, I know hope is a big part of having a change to your self-image. So call 800-992-0369 and get your tickets right now for only $25, including lunch. But as we come back to this, you know, this is something that, again, I've heard a lot of your testimony. And you know, Manda, you talk about being in a normal home and raised in this family, and when we come back from the break, we're going to share a video that where you go into a little bit more of some of the discussion So our viewing audience will actually get to see the video, and our radio audience will get to hear it. But don't go away, because we're going to take a quick break here on Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. When we come back, you'll get to hear some of Amanda's own words from her video. So thanks for listening, and don't go anywhere. We got a lot more in store. So we'll be right back after this quick message.
It's Tonilee Adamson again. I'm just here to tell you that in 2016, we are going on tour again, and the title is The Power of Hope. Don't we all need hope in our lives? And it's not only hope that someday we will be in heaven. It is hope about living it right here out on earth. So we want to see you there next year, 2016. Go to dailydisciples.org to find out which cities and which churches we'll be in.
Welcome back to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. My name is Bobbye Brooks.
And I'm Tonilee Adamson.
Thanks for listening. Glad you could be with us today. If you're brand new to the show, not only do you get to listen wherever you may be on air, but you can also go online. I think it's you're going to have a lot of fun watching us on our new YouTube channel. It's Bobbye and Tonilee's channel. You can get there by going to dailydisciples.org, clicking the banner, and it'll take you right there to the channel. Just click on it. And all of the episodes are labeled, so you can go back. They're all archived. And then you can also go to bobbyeandtonilee.com. And what we're doing in the show now is we're doing a lot of interviews with people. We're talking about real life issues, and it's topics that affect all of us. And some of these topics, unfortunately, are not being discussed necessarily in church on Sunday morning. And some of these topics are a little taboo in that they're not being discussed even amongst small groups. And today, our very special guest, Manda Hall, we've known Manda for several months now, and we've watched her write this book, From Broken to Beautiful. And what she's doing is she's stepping out and saying, I want to share the truth. And you know, Manda, it's time for women to take off the mask. And this is what you're doing in this book, is you're taking off the mask.
Yes.
You're admitting some things that, oh my goodness, they're painful. I mean, I know your story, I've read the book, but to say that your mother didn't want you, to talk about your weight, to talk about all of these things, how did you get to a place where you could look at yourself in the mirror and be okay?
Really, it was all a process of journaling and reading the Bible. You know, being able to, sometimes I just had to open it up and see what God was going to say today. It really was a process of discovering who I was as his daughter. Okay, I've been told he loves me. I've been told that I'm valuable to him, but I needed to go find that for myself.
Right.
You know, Psalm 139, that verse, you were fearfully when you're made. I knew you before you were born. Right. That whole thing just had a whole new meaning to me, with my story with my mother, just to know that he had this all planned all along.
That's
and
right.
That although I've gone through struggles and I've been in a broken place, that even after 45 years, there's still hope.
Right.
That I can begin to feel that I'm worthy of being loved, of being valuable, to having something to offer, is a pretty amazing place to get to. And it's just all a journey. Every person has to walk their own journey. I shared how I walked mine, and hopefully that will inspire and encourage other women that they can do the same thing, that they can find that beautiful woman that he created them to be.
Right. That's right.
And Manda, you were writing about how, as you were journaling through this process, you realized that it was so negative. Like, you realized you had that shattered. You were able to diagnose yourself. Yes. And I had seen that too in prayer journaling. I had seen that when I had looked back over the years, all my journaling, it was depressing. Yes. And I said to the Lord at one point, when do I start journaling happy things? Why am I only journaling sad things? And Bobbye and I actually wrote a prayer journal then that put in a thankful section, or a your will, God's will section, because we wanted to see how God took those hard times and actually brought something beautiful out of that brokenness. Because you do tend to go and write, and I wasn't a big writer either, like you. Like, we just found ourselves in a workshop with someone telling us, and for me it was Becky Terabasi, She encouraged me to start journaling. And I couldn't believe how the process did bring so much healing, but then you have to take the time to say, no more negative.
Yes.
Because we are regurgitating that in our minds then, and at some point you have to be proactive to be positive. So how did that flip with you?
It flipped with me when I was able to realize that I can be grateful for where I am right now.
Yes.
I didn't have to be perfect. I didn't have to let the voices in my head keep running around, that I could be thankful. I started being thankful for the things, the little things that he was showing me, the little gifts that I would find along the way in his word, in scripture. Just that, you know, oh, wow, that, you know, those kind of aha moments.
Kisses from God.
Yes,
right.
Kisses from
right.
God, for sure. And to be able to really take a look at that, go, wow, God, thank you. And I do. I start now, when I start journaling, I enter in a mode of being thankful
yes.
for what he's shown me. Still have times that I kind of go there where, you know, I get caught up in my own self instead of being caught up in what he has for me. But I'm able to really be able to be grateful and thankful for that process. You know, that it's okay to tell him thank you for even the trials that we go through, because we come out of them with so much more knowledge, so much more encouragement, so much more hope on the other side of it.
So
I just want to tell everybody, if you're listening right now, Manda Hall, the author of From Broken to Beautiful, you know, this would be a great Christmas present. And it would also be just a great Christmas present for someone in the new year even. You know people, if you're listening right now, you know people who are experiencing this hurt. You know people who are in the pit. And maybe it's you. And this is, you're listening to someone who has been there, who has come through it, who has been honest in what she's written about it, and who is giving you tools and information to help you get out of it. So for $10, I encourage you to buy as many as you possibly can. Give, because you're giving a gift that could literally change somebody's life forever.
And Manda walks us through the process.
She does.
Of how to get out of that pit. That's what I appreciate.
MandaHall.com. So the best way to do it, and MandaHall.com, just like it sounds, Manda, MandaHall.com is the website. And because we want you to go there, because we want you to also see Manda, learn more about Manda, sign up for her podcast, her blogs,
and she
her devotions.
speaks at churches, and she does retreats.
Yes, as a matter of fact, if you are looking for a speaker, I know there's Christmas teas, there's people getting ready for retreats next year. Manda is an awesome speaker. She'll be at our conference on Saturday, January 30th for the Power of Hope. She'll have her book there, because this is a book that's going to help you bring back hope. Okay, so we want you to get a copy of the book, and we encourage you to go to Manda's website, Manda Hall, MandaHall.com, and order right there online. It's right there on her homepage. And we want you to get to know her. And if you're listening or watching, we're going to take a moment, and actually you're going to get to hear Manda's own words as we take a moment with this video.
Hi, I'm Manda Hall, speaker, teacher, author. Part of my journey to go from broken to beautiful, I've had to take a couple steps along the way. One of them was getting out of my brokenness. The second was learning how to forgive. And the third was learning to accept who God created me to be. This journey has been transformational for me, and I want it to do the same thing for you. Order online or purchase your copy at mandahall.com.
Well, that was a great video, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did, because we actually were here when Manda was filming it. She filmed it right here at Media for Women studio, where we're producing this moment, not just the radio show, but the television program that you can watch by going to BobbyeandTonilee.com. Go to Bobbye and Tonilee's channel on YouTube. And also, when you're on YouTube, we also encourage you to check out Manda's videos. She has Manda Hall. If you go to YouTube and just search Manda Hall, you will see her videos as well. And the reason we want you to do that is because it will encourage you. Her words of inspiration will give you inspiration, maybe to make that life-changing decision. If you're listening to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged right now, and you want to go and continue the show, we're going to be continuing our conversation with Manda Hall and our after show at Bobbye and Tonilee's YouTube channel. So all you need to do is go to dailydisciples.org, click the Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged banner, or go to bobbyeandtonilee.com. Same thing, you can just watch the YouTube channel on demand. But we're going to continue talking to Manda about From Broken to Beautiful and getting more of her story and even her most recent trip to Israel. Thank you, Manda, for being with us today on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I
It's
appreciate
really been
it.
our honor. And remember, you can get the book at mandahall.com. It's on sale right now for only $10. This is a great Christmas present, life-changing. And if you need any more information, you can always contact us. You've been listening to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. Thanks, and we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, and on demand at our YouTube channel. Until then, God bless, have a great day, and we will see you soon.
Thanks for tuning into Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. Tune in every day on air and online.
Welcome to Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged, and you are watching the after show, Bobbye and Tonilee's after show. Tonilee had to just step out for another meeting, but I get the privilege of sitting here and continuing the discussion with our special guest, Manda Hall. She is the author of From Broken to Beautiful, and I love the tagline, A Journey to Restore a Shattered Self-Image. This is Manda's first book. It's been endorsed by several people. I know Manda is loved by so many women who have been in Christian ministry and beyond. Here, we're based in San Diego, but all over the world. This book will be going out all over the world, online as well as in this hardback. It's actually a paperback copy. It's available right now at mandahall.com. All of the information is up at dailydisciples.org and bobbyeandtonilee.com. So we encourage you to get this book. It's only $10, and we know it's a great Christmas present. So with that being said, Manda, let's continue talking about this.
Okay.
Tonilee, when she was reading the book, there was something that really stuck out to her, and it starts with, actually, she's kept telling me, go to page 75, and it says, it says, when I asked myself these questions, the answers revealed how deeply wounded I was. The young girl who compared herself to her peers never felt she was ever good enough. And then it jumps down and says, for a long time I didn't feel that God could comfort me. Why He would even want to comfort me. I surely didn't think He could heal me because I was just too broken and damaged. How, you know, when a person gets to that place, what is going, first of all, how long did you feel that way?
I had basically stuffed all my feelings away. So I didn't allow myself to feel that way. It wasn't until I was at a crossroads where I had to make a decision whether I was going to continue to live the way I've been living, or if I was going to end my life, or what was going to happen. I was just so in a deep place, dark, just really dark place. And so it was then when things started to kind of come to the surface, and when I realized that, wow, I'm pretty damaged material here, you know, it was a challenge. Hey, I told God, hey, if I'm worth saving, you're going to save me now, because I can't do it by myself. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. And so luckily, He just was so gracious to show me just the greatest, slightest sliver of hope that I had never felt before. And so to realize, to get to that place, I had to realize that God takes us as we are. And as damaged and as broken and as hurt as I was, He was going to accept me for who I was, no matter what.
Do you think the initial cause of that hurt was the rejection from your mother?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was living the life of just never measuring up to someone's expectation of me, or, you know, doing everything I possibly could that I thought to get my mom to just love me, you know, just to make me feel like she wanted to be around me. Always having to go through those feelings definitely left me very, very broken, and not thinking that I was worthy of being loved or having any value, like anybody was going to listen to anything I had to say, or, you know, whatever. I just never felt that, you know.
Did she ever say things to you that would hurt you? Do you remember anything that she would say?
You know, it wasn't that she said things. It was just an emotional detachment.
Right.
I
get that.
I couldn't she never hugged me. She never kissed me.
Oh my.
She never gave me any encouragement. You know, she may have said,
Oh,
I love you once in a very, very blue moon.
Wow.
It just was, I just knew that she didn't really want to be around me, that she didn't really want me. She didn't feel the kind of love for me that, you know, I have felt for my children. And so, it just was always an innate feeling in my heart that I just wasn't worthy enough for her to love me.
If you're listening to Manda right now, I honestly, I don't know about you, but I know there are people out there. I know that women watching this or listening, you've been raised in this environment, and men as well. There are mothers. It's hard to believe that a mother who has born a child could treat a child this way. And Manda would later discover why her mother did this. Because I know as a child, you had no idea why your mother did this. So when did you find out the reason behind it?
I actually found out, I'm a very young mom. I was 20 years old and I discovered I was pregnant. And as I was preparing my nursery for my new baby to come, I had a family member come up to me and say, you know, you're the same age as your mom was when she got pregnant. She really wanted to have an abortion with you, but because it was illegal, she was too scared to go to Mexico. And it was kind of like,
oh my.
Okay, well, I was kind of like, well, okay, now it all makes sense. Now I get why she felt that way, why I just never could do anything to measure up. I never could do anything to gain her love and approval that I so desperately wanted. And to be able to discover that was great, except I wasn't ready to deal with it. So, you know, I used food as my coping mechanism to stick that stuff down. Oh, I didn't want to deal with that. Really? No. I just tried to ignore it.
Is that when the food thing happened?
Yes. I was a pretty good shape in high school. I did athletics. I played volleyball. I loved it. But yeah, I think when that moment really happened is when I was like, I couldn't find anything to comfort me. Although my husband has been amazing and gracious to me, I just couldn't find anything to comfort that feeling of being empty. And so I used food to do that for me.
And you're pregnant at the time.
I was pregnant at the time, yes.
So you had a good reason to go ahead and
yes.
eat, right? You had a good,
I did.
You had a good launching pad.
For two.
Yeah, like a
I just
perfect
kept
example.
Eating for two for
yeah, exactly.
a really long time.
And so as you're doing this, and you know you're going through this, and you have your baby, and I'm so thankful that as you were coming closer to the Lord, as we move on this section I was reading from your book. By the way, From Broken to Beautiful, A Journey to Restore a Shattered Self-Image right now is on sale at mandahall.com. Her website's on the back. Manda, MandaHall.com for $10. $10 literally could change your life. This is a great Christmas gift. It's a life-changing gift at any time, but I would encourage you to get as many copies as possible. But here's what you say. I really love how the Apostle Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 10:12. Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't dare say that I am as wonderful as these other men who tell you how good they are. Their trouble is that they're only comparing themselves with each other and measuring themselves against their own little ideas. What stupidity. So that really spoke to you. The Word of God really did begin to get through to you.
Absolutely.
In a way that only God could do it.
Absolutely. You know, when He shares with you, sometimes I just had to open up the Bible and I would get what I needed to be fed. And so, yes, all the verses that I share in the book have all had a profound impact on me and have really led me on that journey. Now,
interestingly enough, right before the book comes out, you had an amazing gift offered to you.
I did.
And speaking of the Bible, as you've gone through this journey, what happened just recently?
I was blessed to be able to go and visit Israel. In a very numerous spots that we got to go on a 12-day tour, and it was made the Bible kind of come to life.
Right.
You know, it became 3D. It became real. I'm like, oh,
Right.
I've read
I've read
before.
this, right,
Wait,
right.
yeah, Sister Rhea, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, now I can, it just starts to make it more real. And for me, I'm super visual. So it was amazing to be able to be there and, you know, be at the Western Wall, which is the Wailing Wall, you know, to be able to put my prayers in there,
Right.
to know that Jesus walked those streets and to know that there was so much there, history there, that I had read, but it didn't really ever seem super real to me. It became very real to me.
Isn't it interesting that God gifted you with that right as your book is coming off the press? I mean, it gets delivered to our office even while you're gone.
Yes.
And you are literally in the Holy Land. Was it emotional for you to be over there?
It was. It was emotional in a very positive way for me because I was able really to reflect on where I've come from and being in that really broken, ugly place, and to know that this journey that I've been on to this restoration, that His Word, everything about that place and what went on there, it just was, I was just able to be so grateful for everything that I've been through and everything that I've experienced and will continue to experience and get better and be encouraged. And although the trials will come, I just know that I was so grateful for everything I was able to experience over there.
Okay, so last question, as you've been so gracious with your time, Manda, you're now getting out, you're going out, you're speaking, you're really not just writing, but you're verbalizing this to women all over.
Yes.
And really just that's going to grow and grow, because the one thing women are looking for today is they're looking for someone who's authentic and transparent, and you're willing to be all of that.
Yes.
So if you had to say to someone who is coming up to you saying, you know what, this book is my story, but I don't know what to do, what would be one of the first things you would say to them?
Well, I would say to them that they need to start writing. And it sounds very odd that would be the first thing that you would start to do. But really for me, the healing process started from being in that broken place when I started to write down my feelings and not keep them all bottled up and stuffed inside. But I really got to express on paper how I was feeling, the questions that I needed to ask God, like, why did you put me through this? Why did I have to go through this? All those questions and hurt, pain, and anger that I just had to express, I would tell them to go get a journal and just to start expressing that. It's a hard thing to do. It wasn't easy for me. I never thought I would write my feelings down on paper. But for me to be able to really start the healing process, I had to be able to express those feelings. Couldn't really express it to those around me, but I was able to express those feelings very open and raw and just as bare as I could be to Him, to have Him be able to really guide me and answer me in those questions. You know, being able to, when I opened up the Bible, that something would speak to me because I've asked that question in my journaling, and He would provide the answer through those questions in His Word. And sometimes in quiet prayer, you know, things would wash over me that I would understand that, okay, I get that now. So I would say the first thing you have to do is you have to really start addressing the feelings. And for me, it was writing those feelings down.
That's awesome. I think that is a great, tangible step to take. Now, as we're wrapping up our time with Manda, again, this is From Broken to Beautiful, a journey to restore a shattered self-image. I know that if you're listening or watching right now, you either know someone or you can relate to Manda's story. Her book is raw, it's real, it's transparent, it's her story. And not only is it her story, but it's her answers. It's answers, just like she just said. I just wanted her to give you one tip. There's the rest of the tips. You need to get the book to get them, okay? She's got questions. You can use this as a small group study, as a church study, Bible study group, whatever. But this is something that we really encourage you to get. At Daily Disciples, we're going to have several copies of this. This will be at our event. Manda will be at our event in San Diego on Saturday, January 30th. The one thing you need when you're going through something like this is hope. So we're hosting the Power of Hope Women's Conference in San Diego on Saturday, January 30th, and we want you to get tickets to that. Manda will be there signing books. Manda will be there speaking. There's a lot that's going to be going on next year. If you'd like to have Manda come speak, you can get in touch with her. But you want to go to dailydisciples.org and get your tickets to the conference. $25 will get you in the door, including lunch. But you want to go also to mandahall.com, MANDAHALL.com, and order your copy of From Broken to Beautiful right here, and get started on your journey to restoring your shattered self-image, because we know so many people are dealing with this. She's one of the first that's putting it out there in print in real life. Manda, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for
and
graciously
this
inviting
book.
me. Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. And thank all of you for watching Bobbye and Tonilee Unplugged. This is the after show right here on YouTube, so don't ever forget, stay tuned. And if you have not subscribed, if you're just tuning in, subscribe. It's free. Just click that subscription button and you'll get alerted for every show that comes out, okay? And we'll have Manda back again very soon, because she's going to be writing her second book, okay? Until next time, thanks for watching, and we always hope to see you soon.